Welcome to the Predictive Playbook, the NHL focused edition. That doesn't mean we talk about NHL only. It just means that we start with the NHL with an NHL expert, as we all know, in Ira Silver. And welcome to the show, Ira. How are things going today?
Good, John. How are you doing?
I'm doing well for a Monday. No complaints. I had a free pick on the Twitter with the Boston Red Sox with a complete report. We're starting to do something where I pin a tweet onto my profile, and then for everybody that retweets it, they get the free pick. And they've been doing pretty well, right around 67%, 20 about 25 picks so far.
Amazing.
So they're doing pretty good. I just have to get the premium stuff going. I've had some. I've never before had 3 days in a row in the NBA where I had a result of a push. 3 consecutive days.
Wow.
It is what it is. No use crying over spilled milk is what my grandfather used to say.
Absolutely. You got to get back on the horse and let's get it going.
Yeah, yeah. And with that, let's move on to the. What the heck happened to my page? Oh, here it is. A hockey card for today, Monday, April 19th. First game I have on the board here is Carolina is visiting Tampa Bay. Carolina 29-10-4, 13-7 away. Tampa Bay was the darling of the NHL not about a month ago, but now it's fallen under the radar, so to speak. 29-13-2, 16-5 at home. Looks like we have Peter Mrazek, 5-1-1, 1.41 goals against average. And Tampa Bay is counted with Andre Vasilevsky. I think I said that right. 26-7-1, which is an incredible record. Goals against average 2.06. How do you see this game, Ira?
Yeah, what's the line on this game right now, John?
Let's share the screen for everybody here quick. That's a great idea. Okay. All right, here we go. Carolina is opened at 5.5 in terms of total. Still at 5.5. A little bit of vig on minus 115. Tampa Bay opened as minus 135, and now is minus 120, minus 118, minus 117 at Pinnacle.
Yeah, I think right now the better team is Carolina, both in, the way they've been performing as of late. And, Tampa Bay's had some injuries on their side of the offense. So for me here, it would be Carolina or a pass at plus money. But no true opinion on this game. It's going to be a fun one. I'll definitely be watching. But in terms of wagering on this game, it's not something I'll be doing.
All right, so we'll pass on the first one. The next one is also a 7 o'clock start, and that's Columbus. They're 15-22 losing record. They are 7-14-2 away, going up against the Florida Panthers, 28-12-5, 14-4-3 at home. Pretty solid record there. Looks like Elvis. I can't say that these names are.
Elvis Merzlikins.
He looks like he might have a little bit of bad fortune. He's 6-10, but he has a goal against average of 2.97, which isn't horrible. Sergei Bobrovsky, 16-7-2, goals against average 2.86. And the line here in this game, rotation 37-38, opened at minus 220 Florida, plus 180 Columbus, and bid down a little bit, 210. I see now it's South Point, and Penny's the lowest at minus 206, plus 183. So this looks like a tough game to take Columbus, but I could be wrong. What do you think?
Yeah, it's not a game I'm looking at. Obviously, Panthers been rolling as of late. I did tell some people the other day when the Panthers were playing. I believe it was the Lightning. You might want to take a stab here with the Panthers. So they're rolling for sure, but Columbus can be feisty at times, and I'm definitely not going to lay $2 or greater here with the Panthers.
All right. Anything on the total to your liking, or just a complete pass on the game?
complete pass on the game.
With that said, we move further into the Monday night card at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the Detroit Red Wings facing the Dallas Stars, and Detroit is 16-24-6, 6-14-2 away, so not a good road record. Stars are 10-6-8 at home, 17-14-12 overall. Detroit's goalie Grace, 5-15-6 goals against 307, will be matched up against Anton Khudobin, 9.96 goals against average, 2.34. This is a tough game for me to even get a handle on, but perhaps you have an edge here.
Yeah, again, Detroit, they came out and played well last week. But again, here I'm not laying $2.50 with the Stars. It's just not going to happen. And especially Red Wings, they did trade away a couple players, but they definitely have some goal scorers still left on the team. So for me, John, can you hear me?
I can now. All right, so
I'm not looking to lay 250 on the Dallas Stars. Detroit can definitely still score goals even after their trade deadline moves that they made. So I'm definitely going to be passing on this game as well, unfortunately.
Well, it's it's like George Carlin used to say, I call him as I see him. If I don't see him, I don't make him up. So
Exactly.
moving on to 8 o'clock, Chicago Blackhawks against the Nashville Predators, and that's a team that I know you have been.
We got some more goalie names. We got some more goalie names for you to pronounce.
Well, Lankinen is pretty easy for Chicago, but now we have Mr. Saros. How do you say that first name? It's Juuse.
I say Yusuf, but I don't know if that's right.
It could even be Jose in a way, or who knows. But with all due respect, we want to be respectful to their names best we can. I'm doing the best I can. So in this matchup, we have two teams that are pretty similar. 21-19-5 record for Chicago. Nashville 24-21-1. This game opened up at minus 145 plus 125, and it's grinding down towards 135. So not a huge move, but it's certainly a move in favor of the dog. 77% of the tickets, though, are on Nashville, 82% of the money. That does reflect that the money that was on Chicago had to be pretty big. What's any call here, Ira?
Yeah, I have a lean on this game, no official play. I do have a lean on the Blackhawks here, plus money.
And that's the side I actually like. I actually put that out as a play today. So that's good to know.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with it. Nashville has a little bit tough time scoring goals, and especially with Lankinen in net, he's a pretty good goalie, regardless of what his goals against say. And the Predators, they play a lot of bad teams as of late, even though, they did get some wins against some good competition. But the Blackhawks can definitely get the puck in the net here, and I can see this one being, a 3-2, 4-2 Blackhawks victory.
Very good. Very good. Then we get to rotation 45 and 46. Ottawa is traveling to play Calgary in a Canada versus Canada matchup. And we have the opening line at 6 on the total, and 6 is being bet under. So right now, basically 125. Vig minus 120 at South Point, and the same at Westgate. Penny is at 120 also. On the line, Calgary, as you would expect, opened up as a prohibitive favorite of minus 220. They're anywhere from minus 200 at DraftKings to minus 220 across the board at William Hill. Penny is 211. And that's about it there. We have there's not really a lot of tickets being bet on this game either for some reason. I guess it's really not attracting attention. But Ottawa, might be at the bottom of the North Division standings, but they are a team that can impact the playoff hopes of the Calgary Flames here too. So you would think that Calgary would not overlook an inferior opponent at this point of this part of the season. But how do you see this game, Ira?
Who's in net for both teams, Don?
I don't have that information. I have two question marks on the ledger, so I do not know. I can check
Gotcha.
another.
Unfortunately, I can't see it because my Wi-Fi went out, so I'm doing this from my phone, unfortunately, so I cannot.
Let me see if I can help you here.
Net. My guess would be Marcham versus Murray.
Let's see here. All right, I have Murray for Ottawa and Markstrom for Calgary. But that was this morning, and for some reason, there's nothing listed right now. The resources I use, but that's probably the most likely matchup, I would suppose.
No worries. So if we go off those two figures, I do kind of like this game over the total of 6, even though it looks like it's being bet under. I see juice the under at -120, under 6. I do like this game over the total for half a unit at even money.
Well, I back that too. I'm just going to write this down that we're in agreement on this one. System to play over with any team that is coming off 2 or more consecutive under games and is not a good team, getting outscored by at least half a goal per match on the season, with the game taking place in the second half of the season. 112-68, that's for 63% winners to the over.
Yeah,
so that's a pretty good one.
I like the over here. I'm going to take over 6 goals, even money for a half unit.
All right, and then we go down to the next game here at 9 o'clock. Montreal, 19-14-9. They're 9-4-7 away. Again, I don't have any goalie information, but I can go to that other resource and see what they have. Montreal's traveling to Edmonton. 26-15-2 are the Edmonton team. They're 13-8 at home. And let's see about goalies. Let's see. We have Montreal, looks like Carey Price. Edmonton is Mike Smith. That makes sense to you?
Yeah, I think that's probably the most likely matchup on the board. In any event, if that is the case, if Carey Price does start in net for the Canadians, I will be playing the Oilers for 1 unit.
Okay, so we're kind of like in baseball, you would box the starting pitcher. So we're taking Edmonton boxed with Smith.
Correct.
All right. Yep. And then the last NHL game on the board here is San Jose is visiting the Las Vegas Golden Knights. And the Toronto-Vancouver game was postponed, as probably everybody knows. But San Jose, Vegas opened up at -235 plus 190. And it's pretty much static all day here. A few 225s appearing. Bookmakers at 240. Westgate is at 230. Another big favorite. We have 4 games on the card that are -200 favorites or higher. And that does make it challenging.
Yeah, just like yesterday.
Yeah.
Who do you do you have a projection? Do you have projections for goalies tonight?
San Jose is Martin Jones. Vegas is Robin Lehner.
Yeah, I have no play on this game. If I were to lean one way or the other, it'd be over the total.
Well, I'm not brave enough to lay, minus 230 on anything in a one game situation like this, or even the puck line. But if you like Vegas, they're 19-3 when facing a struggling defensive team that's allowing 2.85 goals per game or more this season alone. If the team is allowing 3 or more goals this season, they're 16-2. So you would think that they would win this game pretty easily, but sometimes when you think, it ends up being a loss, and you just never want to lose minus
Yeah.
230 games.
Yeah, if you did like Vegas, I would play it in regulation. Vegas in regulation, I would assume that number is probably minus 145. Do you have that number,
I
John?
I don't have that. Um, I'd have to pull up MGM for that.
Yeah, but if I had to guess, that's probably the line right around there. So if you're gonna play Vegas, that's the way to play it. But I do like over the total in this game, but it's not an official play. Really, really not a whole lot on the board that I love today, to be quite honest, and not a whole lot on the board over the weekend that I really love. So, we have a slight lean to Vegas in regulation, slight lean to over the total in Vegas game. We have, what did we say, over the total in the Calgary Ottawa game, correct? For half a unit?
Yeah, that's the one that we seem to be in sync with, and also Edmonton.
Yeah, and Edmonton tonight as well.
Yep.
For 1 unit. So just 2 plays, one for 1 unit, one for a half a unit. That's really where I'm at tonight with this card. It's just too big. The favorites are too big, and the dogs just really aren't too juicy enough to really take a stab on. That's kind of where I'm at, John.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. And there's nothing wrong with passing on a game. And no question. I think this card is a very difficult one, and going with 2 plays, that gives you a sense of comfort too. So that's all good. I have in the NBA.
What about?
What's that?
No, I was gonna say, yeah. What about NBA system of the day, a little MLB action? What we got going on?
Well, here's the NBA betting system of the day, and it's on the Phoenix Suns. And as the day wore on, I'm starting to like this better and better. The 2 NBA guys on the Wager Talk show also like the Suns, and I might even like the under a bit more. It just when you get teams that are playing against elite teams playing elite teams, and I learned this from one of our fellow guests, Austin Wang, who was on with me earlier today. You have 2 elite teams playing each other after the All-Star break. The under hits at a very, very high level. So with that said, the Suns can shoot threes with anybody in the league. Their defense is a little suspect against paint shooting, which is what Milwaukee thrives in with Giannis mainly. But people forget that Phoenix is the 4th best defensive team in scoring average in the NBA, ranking 4th, as I just said, at 107 points per game. So, they actually started a gauntlet, a 5-game gauntlet on the road, starting with this game tonight. Then they travel to Philly. Then they go to Boston. Then they go the Nets, and then the Knicks. And then they return home to take on the Clippers. And it's no present either coming home to take on the Clippers either, because now we're getting into crunch time, and every game is going to matter more and more and more. Let's see, we have Terry Coker here. He wanted to know parlay Dallas and Vegas. Any thought on that?
Remind me, who was Dallas's opponent?
Was it Dallas Stars? And let's get back to that.
Who was it? Columbus?
I think it
I
was.
think
I
it was
didn't want
Columbus.
to. Dallas. Actually, it's
Sorry.
hosting
Sorry,
Detroit.
guys. I apologize again. My Wi-Fi. Yeah. Sorry, guys. My Wi-Fi went out, so I'm just doing this on the fly here since I know everyone loves the info. So I'm trying to do whatever I can to be on here. But so they're playing Detroit.
Yeah, they're hosting Detroit. So Dallas
Yeah, I don't
big
love it.
favorite.
Don't love it.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
don't
you
love
get a
it.
very good payout out of that. To be honest with you, I'd rather if you like both favorites, I'd rather just play for half a unit on each one individually and leave the parlay alone because then if you split you're going to be behind at least 1.5 units if you play full unit bets, and then if you do a parlay, that makes it worse. I don't think the risk reward is there for the parlay, but it's an
Yeah, I don't
excellent
either.
question.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, what I would parlay if you were going to do any parlay, it'd be over in the Ottawa Canadiens game, right? Ottawa Flames game.
Yeah, that one's much better.
I would parlay that. I'd parlay Vegas in regulation, and I'd parlay, over the total in San Jose. I mean, if you wanted to do like a little fun parlay, but I'm not parlaying anything tonight.
Yeah, it does seem to be, at least our suggestion would be to stay away from the parlays on a card that has this many big time favorites.
Yeah, I
It's,
mean,
you
as
know,
you
it's
saw yesterday, if you saw yesterday in the NHL card, if you parlayed the four big favorites yesterday, Pittsburgh got crushed. They were minus 190, minus 195, I believe. Or no, they were
yep.
bigger. And they got crushed by the Buffalo Sabres, the worst team in the league. So, buyer beware.
Yeah.
Not something I'd like to do often. It's very rare I'm parlaying big favorites.
So for the, I've switched the odds over to the NBA here. We have, I can't pronounce his name. He must be a goalie in the NHL. Kwazk
Huh.
or Kwazk. K's K. He'll have to tell us in the chat room how to pronounce that, please. It's like I said, we don't want to make any brutal mistakes here. My name's pretty easy. I mean, if you mispronounce that, I don't know how to respond to that. I mean, it's four letters, and none of them are bad 4-letter words, so it's pretty easy. But seriously, in the Lakers Jazz game, this is a matchup too. I'm going to defer to you, Ira, because I have a premium play that I already released, and to be fair to the clients, I don't. I'll just take the fifth on this one. But I actually am on the total, so I can talk about the side as well.
Well, I was actually going to talk about the total, but I don't know what side you're on, so it
That's
doesn't
right.
matter. I would just be, picking randomly at 50%. But what is the total on the game, and what is the line right now?
Opened at 214.5. I'm seeing 215 at Circa, 214 Westgate, 214.5 South Point. Pennies at 213.5 over minus 110. That's the rest of them are the same. And then the line has Utah favored by 6.5, 7 at South Point, 7 at DraftKings, and that's it. It opened at 6.5 or 5.5. I'm sorry, it opened at 5.5. It looks like it's grinding up to 7.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this would be a game that, I wouldn't be taking the over on, but I don't really have a strong opinion either way on both the side and the total. Obviously, Lakers still reeling from some injuries. Donovan Mitchell's out as well, correct, John?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm assuming, is Clarkson in there or is he out still?
I think he's in. I'm double checking here. When to be fair, what I usually do is wait till 5:30 for the injury report to come out. And even then, that's not necessarily, if a guy's listed as questionable, We learned this the other night when Paul George played against the Sixers, and he was, the talk on Twitter, on the NBA channel, was that he was not going to play, and he looked fine. He
Right,
played
and he
played a
got
pretty good
ruled
game.
in like 10, 15 minutes before.
Yeah. So be careful of
Minutes
chasing
before
those
he got
lines.
ruled in. I don't know, something crazy.
Yeah, and like I said,
Absolutely. But yeah, I would lean under
yeah,
the total
right.
and no opinion on the side.
Let's see what I have to support that. Head coach Vogel, 19-5 under when facing good rebounding teams that are out rebounding their opponents by 3 or more per game as the coach of the Lakers. That's pretty strong. Really, 37-18, he is under after a combined score of 215 points or more in 2 consecutive games as the coach of the Lakers. I like that. I like that trend supporting your pick a lot better than the first one. But both are strong.
Yeah.
On Utah, I have Mitchell is out indefinitely, ankle. Rudy Gobert upgraded to probable Monday. Conley's probable. And then, LeBron James out. Anthony Davis still out. And Jared Dudley is also out indefinitely.
Yeah, I lean under the total here. No opinion on the side. Any
Okay.
baseball you want to chat about?
Go ahead and pick a game.
You want to pull up the betting flows for me?
Yep. There's baseball.
Sorry, again, I do apologize. I'm
okay.
running here with no Wi-Fi for some reason. Just one of those crazy days.
It is a pretty short card on the baseball schedule here, but you have Musgrove, who's the no-hitter guy, and it always reminds me we have 2 no-hitters in April, and since 2004 there's only been 2 months where there's been 3 no-hitters in a month, and that was 2012, and the month was June. In 2015 the month was August. But we still have quite a few days left to get another one. Gausman pitches pretty darn well. He goes tonight. But the St. Louis Washington game doesn't really excite me here. It's interesting that Musgrove is not getting much love against Milwaukee, especially after San Diego came off that. I mean, they needed to win against the Dodgers. They would have been back 5.5 already. We were having a talk on one of the other shows, the Manny's Pub show, and the Dodgers could go the rest of the season not being an underdog. And I had thought that one chance was when they played San Diego and Darvish was on the hill, but that opened at 135. Granted, it closed at minus 110, but they still lost. But that would be something if the Dodgers went the whole season being favored in every single game. And
I'm sure there'll be a few spots. I'm sure there'll be a few spots where they're dogs, where they have a late pitching scratch or something like that.
Yeah, granted, it would take an injury, new guy in the rotation. But, I mean, they're just so deep. I mean, Bellinger's out. And, on any given night, they can put up 10 in a heartbeat.
Yep. Are you pulling up the MLB odds for us?
Yeah, they should be right here. Wait, hold on. I still have the NBA thing on, don't I?
Yep.
Here we go.
At least that's what I'm seeing.
Yep. So now we'll go back to sharing. It's not letting me share the screen. Why is that? Well, I'm not sure why I can't share the screen, but I can go one by one here, I guess. So St. Louis is at Washington.
Just pick like
Flaherty.
two games that are interesting.
San Francisco at Philly. Gaussman against Anderson. 71% of the tickets, 80% of the money is on Philly. Opened at -110, locked. Now has gone to San Francisco, favored -108, -110, William Hill. Pinnacle still has Philadelphia favored at -107, which, Pinnacle, the nickname is Penny. That's a pretty big outfit. They take a lot of volume. The over-under is 8.5. And it looks like it's being bet under because we're talking -115 to -120. Vig on betting the under 8.5. So I would lean Philly, especially if Bryce Harper is playing. He wasn't. Here's another example. He was not supposed to play yesterday. He played and had a big day. I think he drove in 3. No, he couldn't have drove in 3, but because they won 2-0 with Aaron Noah going a complete game. So it must have been it must have been Saturday that he had the big day, the big breakout, because he's usually a 350 hitter.
What are your thoughts on? I was gonna say, what are your thoughts on Anderson, the starting pitcher for the Phillies?
Well, he's their 5th starter. Let me just pull up his chart here quick. So much data. So Chase Anderson, he's 3-2 in 9 starts against the Giants. ERA 4.76, WHIP of 1.213. He's known to have excellent control. Just like any other pitcher, he'll get occasionally wild, but I wouldn't expect him to walk more than 1 or 2 batters tonight against the Giants. When you play the Giants, and they have been playing above expectations this year so far, you can't beat yourself. And if you don't beat yourself, you put yourself in a really good opportunity to win the game. Gaussman has been terrible against the Phillies. And pitched 4 starts, 2018, and the last start was July of 2019, so pretty recent. And ERA is 6.45, WHIP of 1.702. He's 0-3 in 4 career starts against the Phillies. So my lean obviously is towards the Phillies. I think their offense is ready to. The opposite of regress would be progress. And with Bryce finally starting to hit the ball, and like I said, he's usually a 350 hitter during the first couple months of the season. He usually starts out red hot. So with that happening, I think the Phillies probably get enough runs tonight to support Anderson through. If he could get through 6, then I would have to say the Phillies are going to win that game. It's more likely he's going to probably go like 5 and change. It is. Even if he goes 5 and change, that still would be very good.
I would. My only opinion on this game would potentially be over the team total for the Giants. Like if it's 3.5, I kind of like that number. I'd probably lay like 130, 125. San Francisco can definitely hit the ball, and you're facing the last man in the rotation for the Phillies. Going up against what is that? Gaussman's their number 1 pitcher for the Giants.
I believe he is. He's either 1 or 2.
It's a matchup. It's a matchup which is very interesting.
4.5 under runs has to be 136 vig at Pinnacle for the team total San Francisco, and 3.5 over for the Phillies. You have to pay -140. I have no interest in that. So you'd have to have the Giants score 5. But you would be getting probably plus money, maybe plus 110 to play over San Francisco 4.5 runs. it's interesting how they have that set up because it makes sense. And people are going to bet the team total are going to go over the Philadelphia number and under the San Fran number. And I like the contrarian play playing over San Francisco.
And any late night games tonight in the MLB card?
We had one cancellation. Minnesota Oakland is canceled. Texas is at the Los Angeles Angels. Arihara is starting for Texas. Bundy for the Angels. Let me get back to the main page here for the. So we have an opening of 9 under for runs. Angels are minus 180. Texas plus 150. That's been bid up to 225 and 230. Penny's at 229. South Point 230. Westgate 230. So the money's been very much in favor of the Angels, but 62% of the tickets were ridden on Texas. So that is a pretty big steam move right there with the Angels. And if you're lucky enough to get it at the opening of minus 180, you're looking good. And I would even consider probably buying it back. But I just can't do the 220, and I can't trust the Angels on the run line.
Exactly. I wish I could, but I can't trust them on the run line. Otherwise, I play it.
Yeah, and then the Dodgers are the last game. May against Sheffield for Seattle. Sheffield's a lefty. 65% of the tickets on Seattle.
What are they, 240?
Minus 195. 65% of the tickets on Seattle, but 67% is on the money. 67% of the money is on the Dodgers.
Only 195 right now.
Yeah.
Interesting. That might be a game I might have to. That might have to be a game I get down on.
And I did do that database research too with these big favorites. It is prudent to wait till the game starts and hope that dog scores 1 or 2 runs, because then that line is going to come crashing down. And even in the case of the Dodgers, which the world is in love with, and for good reason, that minus 195 will probably be minus 120 if Seattle got out to a 2-0 lead. And there's many times where these big favorites will come back after being down 1 or 2-0. So if you see that ever in a game that you're watching with a favorite of minus 200 or higher, it is an excellent opportunity then to back the favorite.
Yeah.
So I
love the live betting, John.
It's like a miniature Wall Street for me.
Yep.
Obviously, price volatility is a lot greater in the marketplace than sports betting, but it's the same idea. It's the same process, same concept, same execution. But I think that's how I'm going to play the Dodgers for the show here. Is if Seattle during the first 5 innings gets a 2-run advantage, then I'll be on the Dodgers. So the first time Seattle would get up by 2 exact, then I'll pull the trigger on the end game on the Dodgers.
Love it. All right, John. Well, let's go Phoenix Suns and Edmonton Oilers tonight.
Yeah, you got it, man. So for Ira Silver, myself, and the Predictive Playbook, may all the wins be yours.